Welcome to the chemistry courses for the fall 2019 semester. This is applicable for the chemistry classes that meets Tuesday and Thursday, lectures on Tuesdays and labs on Thursday, and this is also appropriate for the class that only meets on Wednesday evenings. All right. So this is your Blackboard. So this should be how your Blackboard homepage will look like, and you should have a list of courses under the appropriate semester. If you can't see your course, basically that means to say is that you actually have it minimized. So you just click on the arrow and you should be able to see your courses. So very, very important. So I'm going to enter in this case, the demonstration course, which is actually for the Tuesday, Thursday course. And your course is going to look like this, and I'm just going to enter the student preview. That way this is actually how this course is going to look to you. So there are 4 things that you need to access for your chemistry course this semester. Your syllabus, your learning plans, your grades, and if you wish to email me, you can actually click on the email link. You can actually select instructor user, you can select my name, and you can actually send an email that way. Alright, so we're going to cover the syllabus first, and the syllabus again is just an overview of how this semester is going to happen, how it's going to occur, how many points are available, right, and all of this other important things that you probably need to know. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, everyone, chemistry is going to be difficult, right? So chemistry, for some reason or another, is a challenge to a lot of students. All right. However, I'm going to tell you right now the general reason why a lot of students do not pass this chemistry course, in my experience, is not because of the subject matter. The subject matter is really difficult. It's because they stop showing up and they stop performing, in this case, the required work specific for this course. All right. So that is actually, and again, that's what happens. Okay. Majority of those people who fail this course are because of those other challenges besides the course itself. All right, so this is the syllabus. So what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to show you right away the schedule. So obviously we start, so like in this case, we start on the 28th. So for the Wednesday class, that's going to be our first meeting. For the Tuesday, Thursday class, we're going to be meeting on the 29th. So this is the tentative summer schedule. It could change. So note that there's always a lecture portion. There's always a learning plan. So we actually have, in this case, learning plan 1, learning plan 2, okay? And it tells you the dates that spans that learning plan. So learning plan 1 goes from 8/29 to 9/2. Learning plan 2 goes from the 3rd to the 9th of September. Tells you the actual area that you're going to be talking about, the textbook pages, which is the OpenStax textbook. I'm going to be talking about that pretty soon. There's actually also a lab, but there are no Blackboard assignments for that learning plan. All right. Now, important note here: the textbook problems. So in this case, there are 5 problems, right? And we're going to be talking about how you can find these problems during class. In this case, is actually due the next week. All right. So these 5 problems must be submitted, completed, and with correct answers when we meet on the next week. So 9 a.m., okay, the first minute of the lecture when we meet, you need to submit your homework. That is similar to the Wednesday class. When we meet the next Wednesday, you need to have that homework ready to be submitted the week after. All right? Very, very important here. Some of us, okay, so for the Tuesday, Thursday section, you actually have a weekly quiz, almost a weekly quiz. Okay, but all right. So that quiz is going to be based on 2 things. It's going to be based upon the material the week before, and it's also going to be based upon the lab the week off. So quiz 1 is going to be based upon atomic structure, subatomic particles, as well as the periodicity and reactivity lab. All right. All quizzes are worth 5 points. All homework problems are also worth 5 points. Okay. Exam 1. Okay, so Blackboard assignments. So exams and quizzes and papers have to be submitted through Blackboard. All right. However, you cannot take your exams at home. You actually have to go to one of the Lakeshore Technical College's testing center to actually take your exam. All right, and I'm going to be covering that pretty soon, the location and times. But exam 1, the scope of exam 1 is going to be based on learning plan 2 and learning plan 3. So whatever learning plan is before the exam, those are going to be the learning plans, the material that you will be tested on. Okay, very, very, very important. You also need to submit a couple of lab reports. Your lab reports are group lab reports, so you don't have to write the lab report by yourself. Okay, so you actually form a group and you actually then write a lab report. And the good thing about the lab report, the first lab report, is you can select a lab report based on any labs before that week. All right, and then the last lab report, you can select any labs after the first lab report. Okay, so, and hopefully this is going to become clear as you come to class in this case. All right, very, very important. How many points are available in this class? There's 490 points. Okay, so there's actually 6 exams. All right, so there's a lot of exams in this course, but the good thing is all of these exams are small points, okay, relatively speaking. And so your exams, again, so your first exam is going to be based on atomic structure, subatomic particles, electron configuration, and periodicity. Exam 2 is going to be based upon chemical bonding, nomenclature, naming, and characteristics and phases of matter. Okay, so again, that's how it's going to be. All of those exams have to be taken again in an LTC testing center. If you wish to check what their schedule is in their course resources, there's actually the Lakeshore LTC Testing Center hours and procedures. Be aware that before you actually go and take your exam at the LTC testing centers, make sure that you check their schedule to make sure that they are open during those times that you are planning to visit. Okay, very, very important here. So again, syllabus. So you have exams. You have an optional final exam. Now the reason why it's optional is, let's say you took all 6 exams, right? And let's say you basically, in this case, scored perfect on all of them except for 1. Well, the last exam is an optional exam because you could use the points that you have here to replace your lowest exam score. All right, so the final exam is never going to hurt you. It's only going to help you. And again, if you score higher than any of your exams previously that you've taken, that can actually replace one of them. Okay, the lab worksheets have to be handed in after every single lab that we do, and though the lab worksheet has to be worked on as a group, is worth 10 points. So again, that's a group. That's group based. Again, you have 2 lab reports worth 50 points each, and there's actually a guideline for that lab report, and that guideline for the lab report is under course resources. And if you go down, it says lab paper. There's actually a sample paper and a rubric that you can actually follow to actually, in this case, fulfill your lab report. Okay. You actually have homework as well. Again, homeworks are based upon the material the week before. So again, your first homework is going to be based on these 3 things here. Now you might be saying, Abner, how do I find that? That can actually be found in your OpenStax textbook, and that textbook is again in your course resources. And if you go all the way down, you can actually click on your chemistry textbook. So in your homework here, especially for your first homework, which is due on the 10th, it says 1.12. So if you go to your textbook, you basically go to chapter 1, and at the end of chapter 1, right, so that's right, so you actually go all the way to the end of chapter 1. Very, very sorry for scrolling this fast here. Hopefully none of you have vertigo or anything like that. And you find on the end of your chapter, right, there's going to be problems, and those problems will tell you actually, in this case, for example, not just examples here, it's actually, sorry taking so long here, what is going on here? Okay, so at the end of the chapter, right, chapter 1, you go all the way to, it says exercises, so you go to 1.1, and then you find, in this case, number 2 is going to be the first question in your homework. Okay, FYI, this textbook is free. You can access this way. You can actually download it to your computer. If you wish to have a physical copy of this textbook, you can actually rent it from the, in this case, from the actual bookstore. You can also check it out from the library. I would suggest not buying this textbook, and the reason why I'm not suggesting buying this textbook, ladies and gentlemen, is because this textbook, we're only going to be using 30% of it, okay, and we're obviously only going to be using it for this semester. So if you wish to buy it, it's actually not expensive. It's only $50. Okay, should be from the bookstore. But again, you could actually use the online guide. This is actually a free textbook, so that's why we're using this textbook. Okay, so very, very important. So again, so that was the homework. The quizzes, FYI, the quizzes again is when we meet, and the quizzes is always going to be based upon last week's lecture and that week's lab experiment. So be prepared, and again, it's 5 points per event. In order for you to pass this course, you need to have at least collect 383 points. Do not concentrate on whatever you have, A, B, C, D. Again, it's a race. It's a accumulation of points, and again, your goal is to get up to 383. All right, so this is a very, very important thing. Now, I know that this is a hard course, so one of the things that we're going to be doing is during exams, if I go back to your lab schedule, so after every exam, instead of a quiz, we actually have an exam 1 group activity. It's actually similar to quiz. It's only 3 points, but what's going to happen is, if your group, and again, this is a group quiz, if it's going to be 3 questions, if you get all 3 questions correct, each person in that group is going to have 3 points added to their exam 1 score. So I'm trying to make sure that there's a way for you to actually make up points, right? So that's a very, very important thing. And so be nice to your classmates, because your classmates, your group mates, is going to have a big impact in your success in this course. They're going to help you write the lab reports. They're going to help you do the exam group activities. They're going to help you do, in this case, the lab worksheets. Okay? So don't be a meanie and play nice with each other in this case. All right? So again, so that is the total class points. Now, I know for a fact that difficult things happen. If at any point in the semester you score 78%, okay, or lower, actually below 78%, I will ask you to come meet with me. I'm going to email you first, ask you what your schedule is. If you don't respond to my email, I'm going to call you. Okay, hopefully you will respond then. And then if you don't answer me, instead of, I'm going to refer you for an early alert. So I'm going to send you a referral to student services, and then they will then contact you. The purpose of why I want to meet with you, or why student services want to meet with you, is because we want to figure out what's going on, what's stopping you from being successful in this class, and we're trying to help you get to that successful area. All right? So don't hesitate to talk to me. We have a lot of, if you happen to have any problems with this class, right? I'm the teacher. I write the exams. I grade the lab reports. Don't go talking to other people. Come and talk to me. We'll sit down. And if you're not happy with the outcome of that conversation, you then can go into the dean, into student services, into the president's office, okay? But before you start barking up the wrong tree, make sure that you come talk to me first. All right? I'm actually going to show you a typical learning plan. So let's say we have learning plan 1 here. Okay, so this is learning plan 1 agenda. So each learning plan will actually have an agenda. It tells you what the competency that we're covering, the learning objectives. It tells you what you need to do. It shows you the PowerPoint slides, the lab, and in this case, lecture videos. It is very important that you watch these lecture videos, read through the PowerPoint slides before you come to class. Otherwise, you're going to be deer in headlights during class. You will not understand anything that I'm talking about during class, right? So try to get some advanced reading before you even attend class. That is the recipe for success: preparation.